So the first thing you're going to want to do to follow this tutorial is to change the layout of your screen in Unreal 5 to the Unreal 4 layout, which is what I use during this tutorial. So here's how to do that. So you're going to want to open the content browser, and within that, in the content folder, is all of our levels. You're going to want to create a new level for every scene, every sequence. So right after you create that new level, you are going to immediately save it as, and we are going to name it as the scenes or the shots that it encompasses. And you see there it is, the one that I just created. Then you're going to go to add level sequence, which brings up a fancy new level sequencer, which you can dock. It won't originally be docked, but you can dock it down next to the content browser, which is what I usually do. It just makes it easier to navigate. To go to the content browser, you're going to want to make sure you're on the right level, so the level that corresponds to the sequencer that you just created. So in this case, it's shot 1 through shot 93. So make sure you're on that level, and then you will be able to access the sequencer for that. You can see right here I switched from the cinematic mode to the default viewport mode. I'll show you how to do that later. So what you're going to do then is you're going to go to the imports folder, and you are going to drag in the MVN puppet import skeleton, which is where all of our animation is, and you're going to drag in the one with the pink subheader. That's the skeletal mesh, and that's going to be the one that's going to move throughout the scene. Then you're going to go to the sequencer, and you can either reopen it if it's not open already. You're going to go to the track menu, and then you're going to add actor to sequence and add the puppet skeleton to the sequencer. Then you can go to the animation menu and choose the shot that you're working on, and that will add it to the sequencer as well. From here, it's very much like a lot of video editing software in that you can trim your animation or move it around to where exactly you need it to be. You can also broaden your workspace by increasing the max number of frames in the bottom right hand corner, which I just did there. So what you're going to see me do now is add another animation on top of it. So this is two different shots, so you have the option of like merging between the animations and like melding them together in strange ways. Or you can just put them one after another, kind of like that right there. That's what I would recommend, unless you're like trying to merge two things right on the end of each other. I wouldn't try to mess with them. But as you can see here, it just kind of tacks on to the end, and then you have him doing two different things. So now I'm going to add a Cinecamera actor, which is like a camera, and it creates this nice little viewport in the bottom corner. I'm going to point it at our guy here. Not there, but there we go. That's a little better. So we have our Cinecamera actor, and I think, yeah, so what I did here was I renamed it, and I think we should rename it based on the shot that we're working on at that point. So this is the mocap for shot 20, so I renamed it shot 20. And I'm going to have it look at him from where he starts, and I'm going to try to have it follow him backwards, according to the shot list. I know this is not what the shot list says, but for the sake of demonstration. So I'm going to add the Cinecamera actor to the sequencer in the same way that I added the mannequin animation. And then from there, underneath the shot 20 camera, you can actually transform it and add keyframes using the little circle button in between the two arrows. So based on where the playhead is, you can add different keyframes. As you'll see me do right here, I click on the little circle, and then it adds keyframes for the location, so the rotation and the scale. So what you can do is you can actually change it to linear if you want by right-clicking on the selected keyframes, as I do here again, and that will make it more smooth if you don't want to ease in, ease out, which is what it does by default. Here I'm just doing a little tweaking. to make it follow him a little better. So I changed those to linear. You can't see it because I forgot to add the pop-up afterwards, which is kind of a pain. There's a little jumping there because this is where we switch from shot 20 to shot 30, and the mocap was kind of janky. So if you notice it's really out of focus, what you can do is you can search for focus, and there's this debug focus plane, which creates this big purple line in the scene, and you can actually move that with the manual focus distance to rest right on your character, which is kind of neat. You can actually animate that right here with the manual focus distance under the camera in the sequencer. So there it is. It's pretty neat. So now we have this, and if you want to, what I would recommend is you can add more cameras per sequence. So here I just added another camera, and I'm going to make it look at him. And you need to add that camera to the sequencer, which I haven't done yet. So I added the camera. I forgot to add that pop-up too. I added the camera to the sequencer like I did the last camera. Sorry about that. So this is the wrong pop-up for here. What I did was I clicked the plus camera button in the camera cuts, and that'll add a camera wherever your playhead is at. It'll allow you to select the camera as well. Here I switched to the cinematic viewport, which allows you to play the camera cuts menu and see exactly what you're working on, which is pretty cool. To see this or to not see this, you can click the little camera button in the camera cuts next to the add camera button. This is where the program crashed for me, so that was fun. But before you leave, you're going to want to do what I did a while ago and save all in your project. Sorry if this is really bad. I'm not used to doing this, but hopefully that helps a little bit.